know what I was going to put up, and then hopefully, you know, I hope the truth would be told. That's how you stop it all from happening. And I'm going to say I'm looking at what just happened and is happening in San Bernardino. It's mind control murders. It's just a continuance of it. Um, but let me say this, just one thing. I usually put things so there's a lot of YouTube, Facebook, Instagram that you can get it off of that I've put up over the years. But I want to say this, just recently I had put, last few days, actually about 3, 4 days ago, I put up a video, when I put this up a lot, Larry Flint was shot. I was doing a book on mind control murders back in Atlanta, 75 to April Fool's Day of 80, and they almost killed me. I should have died. It was a miracle I didn't. And illegally taken across the state line to Huntsville, Alabama, where I passed a background check in mid-May in the condition I was in as to work for District Attorney Fred Simpson. And that's when John Lennon was killed. And if you remember, Martin David Chapman shot him. He was programmed. So I didn't just start telling this yesterday. I just didn't know the mechanism used up until 75, 76 when I worked for doctors and actually understood that they put a chip in a heart bypass. One was cardiovascular. He's head of a corporation, and you could control his decision-making without his knowledge, program him to kill himself and look like suicide. Or the other thing goes back to the Tesla files. You can create an illness or you can cure it. And that's how you make cancer look legit, or heart attacks, etc. It's unlimited what you can do with it. So anyway, what I wanted to go back and say is I recently put up, because I was thinking about the Alexis Murphy. It's a single murder, and people want to say, well, it's too long to tell. Nobody wants to hear it anyway because they're afraid of it. But anyway, I was thinking about Alexis Murphy, the word Murphy, and I put some of that up on the videos yesterday. And I'm just going to go back to Audie Murphy. Back in 71, I was telling about this. I just didn't have the word mind control, you know. But come to find out, I was Googling it now, and his plane went down right out here, not close to me. I never knew I was going to end up here in Roanoke. And it crashed at Catawba, which is, or near Catawba Hospital, which is the state mental hospital. And that's what this whole thing has been about. Programming has nothing to do with mental illness. That's a scapegoat for it. What they're doing is going to end up taking your guns all away from you. Well, they can use knives or anything else, but if your guns are all gone, well, you can forget it, really. But my point is that there was, on the Appalachian Trail up there, there was a monument to him. So I started reading about that, and I put a lot of more kind of reiterating up on YouTube in the last few days. That was one of them. And I also mentioned Warren and Rosina Matthews, who were forensic pathologists at Larry McDonald, congressman, doctor, urologist at Piedmont Hospital. He was one of the cases in my book that I never got published because what they did to me, and the fact that I got a letter from the U.S. Attorney, Harper, ongoing investigation, national security involved, and that was dated June the 23rd of 79. And then April 1st of 80, I almost was taken out of the planet here, off of it dead, whatever they wanted to do to me, you know. It seemed unlimited, but I was mentioning in some of these tapes that I put up, and I put them up a couple of years ago when I got this, and ongoing, I've mentioned it in it. Larry McDonald, this is fast forwarding from then to August 31st of 83. Larry McDonald, congressman, doctor, U.S. congressman from Georgia, plane went down. It was shot down by the KAL. It veered into Russian airspace and they shot it down. This is also what you can do. Take a plane down. You just program the pilot. He doesn't know it. He'd take it into the side of the mountain, and he wouldn't know why or that he was going to do it. You can program the air marshal to come out shooting. It's put there to protect you. Just like in a school, the school shootings are mind control shootings. you could program the very person you put there to protect them to come out shooting. So back to the Warren Rosina Matthews murders back in Atlanta, and forensic psychologists. I wrote about them back then, and I've continued to put that up because they were killed in Cobb County, and they first said his name was Billy Jack, and one of the girls who testified was hypnotized, and that's true. And now then, I can't believe it. Buddy Darden prosecuted that, and he was in that campaign race with me in October of 80, to replace Larry McDonald in Atlanta. I look back, and it wasn't he that changed it, but you Google it, they've even changed the names and things, which is really weird that they can do it and get away with it. But look what they've done to me, all of it. But what I want to say, I put up about, and here they had that Fisk died of natural cause. He's the mayor that just was starting his term, voted in, I believe, but showing pictures of it. That's what I was going to put up here, Greg Fisk for mayor. And now then, somebody's going to say, well, that's just a coincidence. I've been reiterating and putting all this up on YouTube about Larry Flynt and plane going down in Juneau, Alaska. Well, it didn't go, it was in Juneau, the KAL that got shot down by the Soviet, by Russia. And all aboard went down, 200 plus, and died. It was en route to Seoul, South Korea. So I put this up over the last week on several tapes, mentioned it. But I've mentioned it all along from when I started doing the videos back August the 3rd of 13. So I didn't start doing it yesterday. So someone's going to come up and say, what I wrote about too was the Tesla files that were stolen, where they can create an illness or cure it as far back then. So you see why they don't want all this told what it would do. Not just the lying, but the economy, the medical profession. It's so ingrained in drugs and supposed to fix you when they can fix you anyway. So anyway, I just put up again all these videos the last few days, and I mentioned Larry Flynt shooting because that was programmed, and he shot in Lawrenceville, and I'm flown out there, and he mentions Larry McDonald, congressman, doctor. That's where Warren and Rosina Matthews were murdered, the pathologist in Cobb County. They worked there. And the one thing that they knew how murders were made to appear of natural cause is what I got from it all, and I started writing about all this. And so here I am today in bad health, and I mean, it's horrible the way people treat you. They all know it around here. But anyway, what I wanted to say was that, you know, and it's not funny. Don't get that for laughing. It's hideous, my life and telling it and the way I'm treated. But I put up about Juneau, Alaska, and Nixon. He was taken off, and the Watergate tapes and the gap in it and all that. I put that up the last week, and I suddenly, along with other stuff I put up, Juneau, Alaska mayor dies of natural cause. Well, it may be a coincidence. I'm sure everybody's going to jump right on it and say, well, that's nuts. He wasn't murdered. Well, don't be sure that he wasn't.